Vietnam is a country constantly in motion.
And we're just going with the flow.
I traveled the entire country with my partner Cuba, and although 3 weeks wasn't enough time, I was able to get a taste of the profound wisdom this country has to offer. It all started in Saigon. The War Remnants Museum brought me up close with my country's past in Vietnam. My initial thought was one of shame. How could I come to a place that suffered so greatly because of the US? The exhibit on Agent Orange brought me to tears. But reminded me that this is exactly why people from the States should visit Vietnam. We cannot let this happen again. In Saigon, I saw that violence is never worth it. That when there is violence, there is no good side or bad side, but only loss. It rained a lot in Kon Tum, but that didn't stop us from exploring this part of the central highlands of Vietnam. There is an elegance in a life of humility and in a life of simplicity that not many have the vision for. Vietnam has many minority ethnic groups, all with their own cultures, languages, and spiritual beliefs. The majority are animists, meaning they celebrate the spirit within all things, both living and not. These villages taught me about community. The Rong houses, often called communal houses, embody the innate human necessity for collective support. They're the center of the community and a place for all to meet and enjoy. These villages taught me that everyone has a different definition of progress. The government of Vietnam has become very involved in the affairs of these people. It brought them roads, schoolhouses, and electricity. But not all welcome the change that was forced upon them. In fact, many of the more modern houses that the government built have gone uninhabited in favor of the traditional raised wooden houses. For some, progress is money, fame, and possessions. For others, it lies in relationships, spirituality, in connection with nature, and traditions. Indigenous and ancient cultures have always captured my attention, particularly their spiritual views towards nature. Most Vietnamese are no longer religious, but I would say many spiritual practices of the past still live on today. But what I wasn't expecting was the Misan Sanctuary, which offered a surprising glimpse into Hinduism. A relic from the 4th to 13th centuries, this was a sacred site for the Champa dynasty, where a religion emerged that combined elements of local animist spirituality, Hinduism, and Buddhism. This cultural melange highly revered nature, animals, plants, and the non-living things like rocks and mountains, all of which were manifested in their deities. Imagine if we considered mountains to be sacred. Would we deforest them, ski down them, mine them for their ore? Musan inspired me to believe that different religions and cultures can work together. Although I could still feel its spiritual significance, it deeply saddened me to learn that many of these temples were destroyed by the US during the war. Buddhism also maintains the view that all of life is interconnected, cyclical, and impermanent. Although the majority of Vietnamese don't identify as religious nowadays, the Buddhist presence in the country is inescapable, as many traditions continue to live on from the past. Here is some Buddhist wisdom that resonated with me. Vietnam taught me that there is always a road ahead, and that road doesn't lead to happiness, but rather it is happiness. People from Vietnam are strong, resilient, and proud of their country, even despite the political and economic challenges they face. On a final note, I would like to end with the meaning of Vietnam. Viet is an ethnic term of unknown linguistic origin. Nam in Chinese is South. Vietnam is therefore the people of the South. They're distinct from their neighbors and collectively have endured despite facing many invading and colonial forces from China to France and the United States. Vietnam has inspired me to be kinder, to be grateful, and to be resilient. Thank you for your wisdom, Vietnam.